Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. It's fight week here in Las Vegas. We've got Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. The town is abuzz. We're going to do the preview of the fight, and it's brought to you courtesy of CG Technology. And we've got the heavyweight guy from CG. We've got Matthew Holt, VP of Business Development. Matt, the town is ecstatic about this fight. I mean, it's a circus event, really. I mean, because you're taking a UFC fighter to fight one of the greatest boxers of all time as a straight boxing match, and yet the public is going crazy. We haven't even seen the droves of people that are going to come to town come weekend, and this is bigger than the fight, a few years ago when we got Pacquiao and Mayweather that everybody wanted. This is going to be bigger.
Yeah, I've lived in Las Vegas for quite some time now, and I've seen a lot of big fight weeks, and I have never seen anything like this. I've never seen a fight captivate the imagination of the general public like this one has, and they are showing up in droves, not just to watch the fight, but to bet on the fight. And the great thing about this fight is everyone has an opinion on who's going to win, how they're going to win, what's going to happen, and they're not only backing those, they're going to the betting window and backing those opinions up with dollars. We are certainly going to shatter every single wagering record that has been in place on combat sports, the prior record being, Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao, the fight that you just mentioned, and a lot of people said, looking on the horizon, I'm not sure we'll ever come close to that again, despite the fact that the fight itself was a dud, and yet this one is going to absolutely shatter it to the point where a lot of people were speculating a couple weeks ago that we may eclipse Super Bowl numbers with this huge event.
Yeah, that's the question I was going to head to is where would you equate this to some of the other big sporting events? We know that the two biggest events every year here in Vegas is the Super Bowl and then that first weekend of March Madness when you've got the doubleheaders on Thursday and Friday. Do you think we really are going to look at those kind of numbers here?
Well, I mean, let's face it. We know that the first 4 days of March Madness do about 50% more handle than the Super Bowl. So the idea, if we don't hit the Super Bowl, we're certainly not going to get close to the March Madness numbers. So let's say that, most people speculate, and the numbers weren't 100% accurate, but there's an estimate that Mayweather-Pacquiao did somewhere between 50 and 65 million in the state of Nevada. And a lot of people say it was closer to 60 or 65. If we just double it, which is what we're on pace to do, now we're at 130 or 120 to 130 million. So it's not far-fetched if you just double what you did on Mayweather-Pacquiao to believe that you're really close to those Super Bowl numbers at that point. I actually think it's going to slow a bit. I think we'll probably get in the like $90 to $110 million range. That's really optimistic. I think we're going to hit Super Bowl proportion. But if I had told you 9 months ago that we're going to have a fight between a 0-0 boxer and Floyd Mayweather coming out of retirement, and we were going to talk about it escalating to the point where handle was going to reach Super Bowl style numbers, you would have said I'm crazy. But here we are, and we just may be talking about it a week from now.
Well, let's talk about the actual numbers on the fight. Right now, you guys are sitting at Mayweather minus 525. If you want to take Conor McGregor, you're going to get back 425, which that $100 spread, that's the lowest in town that I have seen. There are some places on the strip where it's $150 spread, which is crazy. Where do you see this fight going? Everybody has talked about, well, we haven't seen the money yet. I mean, all the money so far early to tell our viewers has come in on McGregor because when people bet fights, they don't want to lay big money to win little money. They want to enjoy the fight, have fun, watch the fight, so they want to put money down but win the most they can. Well, that means you're going to take the underdog, and in this case, we have never had an underdog in a fight that is as popular as Conor McGregor. How is that translated at the book?
So to your point, right away, 2 months ago, the fight gets announced. They go on that 4-day whirlwind press tour. And we expected that we were going to get all Conor McGregor money because to your point, if you're going to bet Floyd Mayweather, might as well wait. You don't want to tie your money up for 6 months. And to put how big a proportionate difference is the average bet on Mayweather to the average bet on McGregor, 91% of the tickets written thus far at our properties are on Conor McGregor, yet 81% of the dollars wagered are on Floyd Mayweather. That's how big the difference is in average bet size. I think the average bet size when I left yesterday on McGregor was around $150. The average bet size on Floyd Mayweather just over $9,000. So just this massive discrepancy in average bet size. But to your point, we're taking all Conor McGregor money. I think what happened to a lot of the operators here in town is We knew the $50 and $100 bettors are going to be on Conor McGregor, but we didn't know $5,000 and $10,000 bettors were also going to come in on Conor. And those liabilities on the underdog, I think, escalated far beyond what anybody could have comprehended right out of the gate. And all of a sudden, you're stuck fight week with this huge liability, and it's kind of a race to get some Mayweather offsetting action. And we are seeing a lot of seven-figure bets starting to roll in already this week. We're only Wednesday of this week. We've taken six-figure bets on Floyd Mayweather already this week, yet the liability on Conor didn't even go down. So, you know, for every big, huge bet you take on Floyd, you end up taking 20 small ones on McGregor, and that's been the case now for weeks.
Every sharp that I've talked to, they all say the same thing. I'm betting Mayweather. It's just the question of when. It's chess game with everybody, waiting to see where this is going to bottom out at. And for the sharps, we're all going to run to the window at the same time, too. So we want to get that best number. Educated guess for you. Where do you see the bottom going at? Now, you're at 5.25. You had been as low as what, 4.75 at one point?
Yeah, 4.75.
And what do you think happens from here?
And I can tell you that as soon as we went to 4.75, we got hammered with huge Floyd Mayweather bets. I think you're going to see some real differences. So no matter what side of this fight you want to bet, shop around, because you can get a great number here in town, because people are going to take huge bets. We have yet to see one single $1 million bet on Mayweather. They're coming this week. And as people take seven-figure bets on Mayweather, their risk is going to flip-flop. They're going to be happy to take more McGregor action. You'll get a better price there. The people that are taking nothing but McGregor action this week, they're going to need some Floyd money at the end of this week, because none of the bankers upstairs want to blow $3 or $5 million to this fight. So you'll see them go really low. So if you want to get Mayweather, I'd say wait, shop around. I don't think you'll do any better than 450. But I've seen books go to 450 today, and you see them go to 450 and then they go right back up, and you see them go to 450 and they go right back up. Can you get $4? I'm not 100% sure at this point you'll be able to get $4, but you'll certainly be able to get 450. And on the other side, if you're looking to bet McGregor, shop around, you could probably get plus 450 on McGregor if you shop around.
Now, you guys always do it in football, and I got to give you props on your props because you guys don't shy away from it. Right now, you guys have a ton of props for the fight on, just hold it up here to let you guys see the sheet. There's a packet of things that you can bet on Saturday with the props. So it's going to be like a Super Bowl atmosphere. When it comes to UFC, boxing and everything, around town, there's a lot of guys that I respect. You're at the top of the list. And you're on both sides of the counter. You are a sharp guy when it comes to it. I know you do a lot of podcasts, radio shows talking about fighting. Do you give McGregor any shot in this fight?
No, I don't. I think the promotion for this fight has done, the promotional team on both sides has done such an amazing job. But what you've heard in every single promotional segment from one side is how good Conor is. Even Floyd's talking about how good Conor is, because they have to sell this fight. And the only couple of things I can compare it to here, because we've had some kind of crossover style fights before, is remember James Toney came over into the UFC, tried to fight Randy Couture. Randy Couture at that point was obviously already old. He whipped James Toney. It lasted less than a round. And then Ronda Rousey, too, after she got a couple knockouts, thought she could strike, fought a professional kickboxer and boxer in Holly Holm. And when she couldn't get a takedown, the difference in striking was just unbelievably apparent, and Holly Holm ended up knocking her out. The two sports aren't completely comparable. The stance is different, the footwork's different, the punching's different, the defense is different. Everything about it is different, and unfortunately, they're fighting in boxing rules for Conor McGregor, and I don't see him having much of a chance here. The one thing he does have going in his favor is Floyd Mayweather doesn't have great hands anymore, and I don't mean in terms of hand speed or anything. I mean his hands are a little bit fragile. He tends to break his hands. It'll be interesting to see with the 8-ounce gloves when, not if, when he hits McGregor clean early in the first round, how do the hands hold up? Because if he starts landing clean punches and the hands are holding up fine, I don't see how McGregor even makes it 5 or 6 rounds. Add to the fact that McGregor has a history of cutting. He cut against Chad Mendez, he cut against Nate Diaz the second time, and now you have all that scar tissue. It's going to cut easier. Not only could he cut from punches, but anytime you have a southpaw and an orthodox guy in there anyway, you're more likely to have cuts. Add in the fact Conor McGregor's style here, unorthodox, doesn't have a natural boxing stance. You're liable to get more clashes of heads than normal. I don't see this fight As long as Floyd's hands are okay, I don't see how this fight goes more than 5 or 6 rounds. Even if they end up stopping it on a headbutt and going to the cards or something because it's a cut, it's hard for me to envision this thing going the distance, and it's hard to figure out a way how Conor wins. I mean, everybody says the same thing. Well, Conor wins by landing the big punch. And I know there's this mystique around Conor that he's a big, aggressive guy. He's not. Conor McGregor is a dead-set counterpuncher. Just watch any of his fights. He's a counterpuncher, and so isn't Floyd Mayweather. So Floyd isn't going to run into something like Jose Aldo did, or he's not going to bull rush Conor. He's just going to steady and pick him apart.
If I had to have you give us one prop that you like, what would be your best prop you like?
I think I would lay Floyd Mayweather to win inside the distance at -130. If you think Floyd's going to win this fight, what about these two fighters makes you think it's going to go 12 rounds? It just seems unfathomable to me that it actually would go 12 rounds. I mean, I think if you believe that Floyd Mayweather is going to dominate him as badly as most people think, a lot of sharps, then why not bet Floyd to win inside the distance -130? And then you get, if it's a cut and it goes to decisions, if Floyd knocks him out, if they just stop it because of the accumulation of punches. Because I guarantee you, the last thing Conor, the UFC, and everyone want in this fight is a 12-0 sweep and a really ugly, nasty, one-sided fight. It's probably better for McGregor that it just gets stopped. Not knocked out, but stopped. Oh, what do you mean you're stopping it? And, you know, whatever, blood pouring down his face, and he can walk out of there disputing it in some way. But that's a really good price. Hey, if you're looking... Hey, where can I lay 450? Where can I lay 400 maybe? How about laying -130, Floyd inside the distance?
All right, you heard it there from Matthew Holt, VP of Business Development at CG Technology. And guys, last chance to get Flashback Friday at Wager Talk. $7 any pick this Friday. We're changing the day of Flashback Friday. We'll tell you about that next week on the videos, but this will be the last Friday. Take advantage of it. Get any pick this week on the site for Friday, just $7. We'll be back with more.